in my collection, in my Pokemon hunting, the PSA 10 Charizard is
Here it
the
is.
last thing that I'm looking for. I am prepared to give you $150,000
Oh
cash.
my
Is
gosh.
that a yes?
Here it is. Yes. Oh my god! G'day mates, this is PokeFuel here. Welcome to the channel, and today we're diving in and talking about Logan Paul's recent video where he purchased a $150,000 Charizard. I still cannot believe what has just happened and how big this is, not only for the Pokemon community, but for all of those people around the world who are now seeing Pokemon becoming such a massive, massive hobby and Pokemon really making the come up. Now, what we're going to do in this video is break down what happened in this video, what this means for you and for the rest of the Pokemon community and people out there all around the world who may be watching that video, and how you can get started in collecting Pokemon cards just like you did as a kid. It's so nostalgic. I love it. It's such a passion of mine, and I know it's such a passion of yours if you're watching this video and you're looking to get a little bit more insight info into what happened with Logan Paul's video. So make sure you stay around to the end. I'm going to provide lots and lots of value in this video. I've put all my time, all my energy into this video, so I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video. And if you do enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you around, and I'm really having fun making these videos. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So to start this video off, I just want to preface this by saying that Pokemon for all of us is something that is a part of our childhood. It's something that we attach memories to, that we attach happiness to, and nostalgia that we experience now that we're older and we're adults. Some of you may be younger, some of you may be older, but nevertheless, we feel nostalgic towards Pokemon. It brings us happiness and it brings us joy. Now, part of the reason why I believe Pokemon and trading cards in general are really taking off this year is because of COVID-19. Now, as we know, this is a deadly virus that has affected many people that you may know. Many people around the world have died from this virus, and I don't want to make light of that, but the point that I'm trying to make here is because of the difficult times that a lot of people have been through this year, a lot of people turn to their childhood. It's psychologically helpful for us to turn to the things that brought us happiness in the past. And that's why I believe Pokemon is such a big part of 2020 and trading cards in general, is because people are starting to want to relive some of the happy moments they had as kids as we go through these difficult times in the world. And for a lot of us, Pokemon really means something more than just a piece of cardboard. It means something more than just a character on a trading card, right? We attach memories and experiences that we've had growing up as kids to these cards. That's why for me, Pokemon means a lot, because when I was just 16 years old, my family moved all the way from Australia to America. It was a very difficult time for me during that time. 16, middle of high school, it was pretty tough, but Pokemon was something that I experienced in Australia. So when I think of Pokemon and those cards, I think of my home. I think of Australia, I think about where I used to live, and that to me means a lot. Now, first and foremost, before we break down this video and talk about some key points that I think were overlooked throughout this video that weren't mentioned, I want to talk about the first edition base set Charizard. Now, this first edition base set Charizard that just sold in a PSA 10 that Logan Paul had purchased is going for obviously $150,000. That's what he purchased it for. Now, what were the prices like a year ago? Well, I want to find that out with you guys. So let's jump into my computer here and let's take a look at some things so we can figure out what the pricing was even just 1 year ago. Seriously, stick around to the end because I'm going to talk about how you can get these bad boys, okay? Make sure you stick around and I can tell you how you can get your hands on some for less than $150,000. So here we are on eBay. Let's go ahead and type in first edition Charizard base set PSA 10. Let's see what we can find. We want to make sure that we turn on some filters. We want to see sold items. We want to put a price in, let's say from 10,000 to 200,000. 100,000 just to give us more of the high items. And as you can see here, we don't really have a lot of info other than a Japanese Charizard here. Let's see what else. First edition PSA 4. So PSA 4 and PSA 5s are going for $10,000 to $20,000 alone. So let's go ahead and jump onto a site called Pokemon Price. This might give us a better idea of some of the transactions that have happened on eBay and on other selling platforms. So here we are on Pokemon Price. Now, I just want to give a disclaimer that this isn't 100% accurate. There's a lot of private sales that happen with these high price cards. So we're just going to have a look here. I'm going to type in first edition base Charizard. Let's go ahead and pull this up. So like I said, rough idea, but let's have a look at the difference between this year and the price that Logan paid and last year's price, roughly, to see if we can get an estimate. So this year in 2020, May 1st, sold for $75,000. That was the last recorded sale, at least here. Like I said, a lot of private sales do happen. If we are to look into 2019, let's have a look here. One sold on the 22nd of December of last year for $36,000, and then some sold for $40,000 in 2018. So we can say probably comfortably that around a $40,000 card, $35,000 card last year this time. And now Logan Paul has purchased a first edition Charizard for $150,000. That is over 4 times, or just under 4 times the price that it was this time last year. So you would have made approximately $100,000 or $110,000 profit if you had purchased a Charizard first edition holo from base set last year in 2019. So let's go and watch a little segment from Logan Paul's video, because I want to touch on some important details here for those of you who do not know after we watch a few bits of this video here. So let's go ahead and watch that together.
You know. Yeah! Just kidding. We're actually here to, and I'm kind of like embarrassed to say this, buy yeah, you guessed it, a Pokemon card. Or attempt to buy anyway. Okay, so Pawn Stars, the show. We all know it, we all love it. About 3 years ago, a guy named Gary went on the show. He had like a beautiful Charizard collection. He wanted $500,000 for it. The guy said no. Today, that collection is worth $5 million. He is one of the biggest Pokemon collectors in the world, and he lives here in Las Vegas. He has a card I really want. Actually, he has 2.
So let's talk about this a little bit, okay? So Gary went on Pawn Stars, brought his Charizard collection, asked for $500,000, and they did not purchase his collection. Now his collection is estimated to be worth about $5 million. That's insane, all right? Now I counted up how many Charizards Gary had out on the table, roughly around 100 Charizards from the early Pokemon days of different Charizards coming out between 1999 and or 1996, because there were some Japanese ones there, and 2003. There's a lot of new Pokemon or older Pokemon cards there that he had as well. So why is Gary so important in Pokemon? Well, the reason being is because Gary has the most first edition Charizards from base set in the entire world. That is why Logan Paul wants to go over and purchase one of these first edition Charizards from him. Now, Gary is a respected guy in the community in Pokemon, and he is someone that is been on a lot of big YouTubers, Pokemon channels. He's been around, people know him, and he's a very important part of the Pokemon community. There was a time early on in Pokemon between the 1999 and 2003 where there was a company called Wizards of the Coast that actually printed these Pokemon cards in English for America and other countries around the world. They translated these Pokemon cards from Japanese to English for all of us to enjoy. Now, these are some of the cards or some of the years where our favorite cards came from. That's why when you hear anything about Wizards of the Coast or Watik, that is that era. That is the nostalgic days of when we were collecting cards, and stay some of the vintage cards that we hear about and see today. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight into Wizards of the Coast and the role that they played back then in those days. After 2003, rights went over, I believe, to Pokemon, who then printed the cards from then until now. So why is Gary so important in the Pokemon community? Well, not only does he have the most first edition Charizards, but he's also been on a lot of other YouTube channels. He loves to be interviewed and to share his passion and love for Pokemon, and that's really why he is such an icon, I guess, in the Pokemon community. Let's look at this next clip and talk about what impact this may have on the Pokemon community and what impact it's already had.
And there it was. I was holding one of the rarest Pokemon cards in the world. This was my mission objective, but right as I was about to present my offer, things took a turn for the worst.
I get 20 messages a day from all the big guys. Justin Bieber contacted me, wanted them. Gary Vee, they all want my cards, and I just don't have the heart to give them up. I also had a guy offer in Montana to trade for a house.
Trade a house for this card?
Yeah, $400,000. Take my daughter, take my money, don't touch my Charizards.
Why am I holding it?
So what does it mean for the hobby that Gary is being contacted by multiple celebrities and influencers? What does this really mean for Pokemon in the future, and how is that going to impact you and the prices that Pokemon is already at? I really believe that it just shows how much love people have for Pokemon. A lot of these celebrities and the influencers who are between 20 and 30 years old, they grew up with these cards as kids. I just heard the other day that Logic also bought a booster box. Like, who would have thought, right? It's really cool to see these people pick up Pokemon cards, and I know that it just puts Pokemon cards and some of these nostalgic cards out of reach for some people like us, where we can't afford to go drop $100,000 on a Charizard First Edition Holo, right? Besides the fact that it does put some of these cards out of reach, it's really cool to see how much Pokemon has surged in popularity this year and the impact that it's had on everyone around the world and just the feeling that you get by opening cards. And I really believe that Pokemon is just getting started. I really believe that the impact that Pokemon will have on the world is much larger than it is right now, even though, you know, prices have risen so much and there's, you know, a lot of people that seem to be in it. I think it's just the beginning and the early stages of this, as well as sports cards. And I really think that Pokemon is going to become a thing that is going to live on for quite some time. So let's just jump back and have a look at what happened and what went down one more time. And I want to kind of share my thoughts on this a little bit more.
In my collection, in my Pokemon hunting, the PSA 10 Charizard is
Here
the last thing that I'm looking for. I am prepared to give you $150,000
Oh
cash.
my
Is
God.
that a yes?
Here it is.
Yes.
Oh my God. So just after watching this, I just cannot believe that this happened, but it really does. I don't know, when I watched this for the first time, I felt the passion, I felt the love, the care, and honestly, I just felt the emotion of what was actually happening. And you could see it in Logan's face when he was purchasing this card, and Gary said yes to his offer, that you could just see that, I mean, I don't want to say he teared up, but you can kind of see the emotion that he felt, that he had finally gotten his hands on something that meant so much to him. And I think that's really the biggest thing that I notice about Pokemon, and that I feel for myself too, is just like the emotional connection that you have, that these cards, they mean so much more than the money that you spend on them. They mean so much more than just the piece of cardboard that they're printed on. And I think that's what makes this so special. And that's why I believe Pokemon will live on, is because even though it's just a card, it doesn't matter. It's the happiness, it's the joy, it's the memories, it's the moment in time when you were kids, or we were children, we were kids growing up, that we attached memories and moments into our lives because of Pokemon. Now, I may sound like I'm getting crazy, but I'm just really sharing how I truly feel, and I think a lot of people can share that feeling, even though maybe it's a bit weird to admit sometimes, but I really think that that's really the big reason why Pokemon will continue to grow and continue to thrive. So you might be thinking to yourself, where can I get my hands on some of these Charizards? Because I don't have $100,000 to drop on a Charizard that I can put in my collection, right? Well, in 2016, they printed a set called XY Evolutions. This was in the XY series. XY Evolutions was a reprint or a copy of the original base set that was printed. Now in XY Evolutions, they printed similar cards to what they did in base set. There are a few additional cards in the set, but opening these cards for the first time, this is just so nostalgic for me. I remember earlier this year, I bought an XY Evolutions booster box, and I actually bought 2 of them. I opened them all, and it was just such a cool feeling to open those cards and relive some of the days where I had some of those cards in my collection. And it was just a really, really cool experience. So if you really are looking to get back into Pokemon and you want to, experience the nostalgia, I would recommend looking at XY Evolutions. It's a good price set. You can pick up a booster box for around $140, $150, maybe $160. That comes with 36 packs, or you can buy your individual booster packs as well for a few dollars. So I'd recommend going and check out XY Evolutions. I'll leave a link below where you can go and check those out, some of the cheapest prices that I found for you. But that set is one of the sets that will take you back and help you feel nostalgic. So those 2 Charizards that I showed off earlier in the video, here they are right now. You can see these. They are the original Charizards from, or this one here is the original Charizard from base set, but it was reprinted in XY Evolutions. You can pull this out of a booster box, and it's basically the same kind of card, as you can see there. But these are the 2 cards that you can pull, and it's such a nostalgic set, like I said. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to find my childhood collection, as when I moved from Australia to America, I don't know where my binders went, but maybe they're somewhere in a storage unit in Australia. Hopefully one day I can go back and make a video going through our old storage unit in Australia, and maybe I can find some of my cards. But I remember having a couple of binders worth of these cards from the base set, and Jungle and Fossil and Team Rocket. I remember all those cards. But I don't really know if I had any first editions or anything, but it's just really cool. Hopefully one day I get the opportunity to go back and do that, and share it with you guys as well. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like on this video. I really put a lot of time and effort into helping educate you and just sharing my thoughts and opinions and the knowledge that I have on Pokemon to hopefully help you jumpstart your journey into Pokemon again, as I have recently as well. It's just such an incredible feeling opening Pokemon cards again. It takes you back, makes you feel like a kid, and that's okay. It's okay to be a kid. I think it's important to not take life too seriously. That's something that I live by and something that's important to me, and Pokemon will help you to kind of ease up a little bit and just have some fun. So make sure you go and check out the XY Evolution set if you are looking to get some Pokemon cards. But if you have found value in this video, make sure you hit that big red subscribe button. I really appreciate it if you could subscribe. If this content is interesting to you, if you have any other ideas on videos you'd like me to make, go ahead and suggest them down in the comments. The question I want to leave you with is, what got you back into Pokemon? What helped you fall in love with Pokemon again if you're already back into the hobby? I'd love to hear down below in the comments whether you found your old collection binders, or what inspired you to get back into Pokemon, and whether you're obsessed with Pokemon now. I'd love to hear all your comments down below. I appreciate every single one of you subscribing and watching this video. I really, really do mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's so fun to do this, and I hope to continue doing it in the future. But until next time, this is PokeFuel, and I'll see you in the next video.